Okay, here we go again. Back to work. I'm just gonna tear into this some more. Um, let's go with the rain gutter since I just happen to have it selected. I'll turn off my shrink this down a little bit, get it out of my way. And let's see what we can do with this. It's kind of a crazy shape, and to be honest, I might want to change the model because of how long and thin it is. It's going to be a really awkward shape to be able to chop up and put into a texture sheet. Cutting it in half actually might help, so I could at least cut it in half on the texture sheet. It's either that or I'm gonna have to place it alongside really big things like on the same texture sheet as the roof or something. We'll see, but let's just get it unfolded first at least. I can make that decision later if I want to. Let's go with let's just take the entire thing and project for now, and then chop it up. So map it on the X, mapping planar X, and then let's start cutting some seams. Okay, so I have an idea of what I can do. I can cut, zoom in on this, cut, that, and then if I let's try cutting it here and leaving it attached there. So if I cut all those, then I do the same on the other side. So if I cut. Now again, I could leave it attached here or here, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut here and leave it attached in there. For now, I might change my mind later, but just to get something started. Let's see if this will unfold now. Oh, I do need at least one cut going around this way. So let's cut it on the interior, because the interior, of course, is going to be the least visible. Cut. And let's try Legacy and None and see what happens. That's pretty much exactly what I expected. Oh, except for this. This is getting funky. But not, not completely unmanageable. And because this is getting funky, let me just cut it off. Scoot it over, and then I'll sort of handle that separately. And I'll do that here too, just in case. That way I know that this for sure is good to go. And okay, that's good. And I'm like, let me double check the checkers, of course. Yeah, nice clean checkers, we're good. So, what now? Okay, now it's a matter of making sure that this element here, oh, I guess it does look, checker-wise it looks okay. Oh no, except for here, yeah, so that it's this face right here, basically, that's getting kind of funky. Like, I could actually manually just try to fix it, and probably get closer. But let's just try it. Now that we've chopped it off, let's try unfolding it now. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so that cleans it up quite a bit. Just chopping it off and then doing it. Now, I can always restitch it, but I'll want to wait until I resize everything first. So let's re-unfold this. Let's take a look at the checkers on it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So we're good. We just want to stitch these back on just to keep them from being their own little floaty things. Actually, we probably could just stitch it there. Stitch it there and stitch it there, and then just re-unfold. Yeah, that seems fine. I'll take it. Now again, like I was saying, this is a really long, thin, awkward piece. So in reality, I may decide to just actually physically cut it using the multi-cut tool, like right down the middle. Because if I don't, this is going to be pretty hard to place into a UV space. It's just so long that cutting it in half might be better. But I may not, because if I have other really long big pieces, then maybe that's going to work out fine. For now, I'll leave it alone until I get to the issue. Until I get to an issue where I do have to place it. Oh, and for now, let me go ahead and lay it out. Layout. Oh, layout. Okay, layout freaked out. Now, if layout freaks out, that means there's something up with the shells. I don't see any shells missing though. So this shouldn't have a problem being laid out right now. Let me try object. Yeah, this is getting funky. Generally, I find that if you try to do layout and it like sort of implodes super small, usually that means there's something not unfolded properly. But I don't think that's the case here. Unless I have any kind of modeling errors, like faces inside of faces or something like that, but I don't see anything. Looks clean to me. It could just be how long it is, you know? The fact that it's such a super long face, or a series of faces. It could just be freaking out trying to lay that out. Let's just kind of manually sort of get it into the range it's supposed to be. Oh, is that the 0 to 1 way down there? Okay, so it was like basically massive. Oh no, those are decimals. Okay, so oh, weird. There we go. Okay, yeah, 0 to yeah, it's 0 to 1 right there. Okay, so we're good. So yeah, this is how big it's supposed to be on the 0 to 1 space. Let's see if, now that I kind of got it in the ballpark, let's see if I can do the layout now. Oops. Do that. Let's see if layout works now. Just for curiosity's sake. Oh, it's already open. Hold on. Yeah, okay, now it's fine. So it was the scale was just so out of whack that Maya freaked out. Again, Maya shouldn't have a problem with that. It shouldn't freak out like that, but yeah, it's Maya. Yeah, so that's much better. But like I said, we're not done yet, and then there's this piece as well. So let's jump into that piece. Control 1. Now this is going to be much kind of crazier because again, curvy pieces always get kind of wacky. So let's start with the easy pieces. Let's start with the straight pieces. Actually, let's start by mapping the entire thing. Let's just projection, mapping, planar Z. Let's just get that process started. So it starts to look like something relatively close to what it is. And then let's just start chopping off shells. Let's chop off that shell there. Let's double click there and chop that off. This face actually, I don't know, this face actually could be deleted possibly. No, let's not though. I'll leave it there because this actually does poke through. And I could potentially want to paint on that to look like it's got a hole in it. I don't actually have to make a hole in it. A paint job could be enough because you're never really going to look that closely at that. Very likely. So I can fake the hole by just painting it on there. So that's why I won't delete the face though. If I delete the face, you'd get some weird back-facing issues where you'd see through those things. So So I'll just fake a hole by painting it on there. But yeah. Okay, so we chopped off this shell, chopped off this shell. We've got this shell. Now, we do want to chop this off as well, because again, it changes directions here pretty crazily. So I'll cut that off, and then I'll decide what to do with the rest of that later. Let's just start unwrapping some of this stuff. So again, if you can get away with it, then definitely delete a back face there, but I don't want to do that. Just in case this pokes out at some point, depending on which thing you choose to use. Probably won't, but I am going to cut the seam here. So I'm going to double click until I get that whole seam, and I will cut. I'll cut that because I need a seam there, otherwise none of that's going to unfold. This shell should be able to unfold just fine. So let's go into unfold options, and it imploded. Okay, so because it imploded, I'm going to try my tricks. I'm going to use horizontal constraint, unfold, and then I'm going to use vertical and hit apply, and that is just fine. So again, this was a scenario where I knew Maya should have unwrapped it just fine, but it failed. So I used unfold constraints horizontal and then vertical, and it gave me good results. Okay, so moving up to this little bit here. This little bit's pretty easy. That should be this piece here. Again, this should just work. But, of course, Maya fails. So, because Maya failed, I will, once again, use horizontal and then vertical. But that failed. Okay, so... Oh, I know why. Okay, this is my bad. This time it's my bad, because there is a face on top there. So that face on top needs somewhere to go. It needs to be able to unfold. I'll take a sip. Okay, so the face on top needs somewhere to go. It needs some cuts. Otherwise, it freaks out. Can't unfold. Mine doesn't know what to do with it. Oh, let me isolate selected again. Okay, so again, the face on top needs somewhere to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut everything except for one face. And it's probably not that face. That's not a good idea. Let's deselect that one and select that one, because I'd rather have it attached. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter, because this is going to be on top. Yeah, it shouldn't matter much, but I do want to just cut all three of those and leave it attached somewhere. Now, if I unfold this, let's turn off the unfold constraint. And again, it fails. Okay, so again, horizontal, and then vertical. That's closer. That's closer to what it should be. Still kind of a fail though. So let's try unfold 3D. And that's still not good. Oh wow, Maya is on a failure mission today. Let's try to see if I can turn this up. Nope, still fail. Okay, so let's go to Legacy. Let's go, let's do horizontal, and then vertical, and then none. And that gets us where we need to be. Wow. Maya's just really surprising me with its terribleness sometimes. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to go through all those constraints to massage this into its unfolded state. But you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so that's good to go now. Let's look at the curvy part here. Now it's kind of curvy. It's kind of straight here, and then it's kind of curvy here, kind of curvy there. Let's just try. Let's see what happens if we unfold right now. Yeah, okay, it freaks out. Let's see. Let's see what happens if we just cut some of the bendy parts. let's just cut some of the bendy parts and see if that kind of gives it enough. If that's enough to let it unfold. Go farther with it? Yeah, let's just go farther. Okay, let's cut those. Let's see if that's enough to let it unfold. Not with that. Let's try Unfold 3D. Unfold? Unfold 3D gets a little closer. Not quite right though. What else can we do? We could try chopping it up more. If we chop it up, if we just go all the way, just chop this whole chunk off. Because again, it's where things start getting bendy. That's always going to be the most stressful problem for Maya. So let me just cut both those off. Maybe if I get those unfolded, they'll stitch back on. You know, we'll see. But let's try this. Okay. Nope. Not so much. Okay. What else can we do? Let's do vertical, and then horizontal. That's much closer. That's actually pretty decent. And then try none. That's much better. Wow. Okay. So getting somewhere. You know, sometimes you gotta just try a few things and see if you can get it to behave. So that's much better. We still have these other pieces though. Let's try none. And that doesn't do a great job. So let's try like horizontal and then vertical. And then none? Let's see, maybe. Let's scale it up a little bit so we can see. Yeah, that seems to have. There's a little distortion, but try none again and just hit apply again. Oh wow, okay. So hitting apply twice, got it there. Now it's pretty good. And let's just go move on to the other shell, which is right here. Okay, so again, let's try horizontal, then vertical. Let's scale the whole shell up a bit so we can see better. And then let's try none. And then try none twice. All right. Yeah, okay. I'll take it. Now again, I might be able to stitch some of these together. Put some of these together. Maybe I do that, you know, and stitch that on there. That's a possibility. It might make things a little more complicated, placement-wise, possibly. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. Again, this one I could probably stitch that one on somewhere if I really want. It's not really crucial though, and sometimes it just makes placement harder. I'm gonna leave those. I'm gonna leave those detached for now, and see if the placement is just fine. If it's easier to sort of manipulate the jigsaw puzzle. So, all right, moving on down here. We've already got a seam down here. We're definitely gonna have to cut this off though, because that's gonna get funky. So that's gonna be its own show. Because there's a lot of changes in surface direction there. Probably need to cut out the middle part too, the whole part. So that leaves this shell by itself, which again, that should unwrap just fine. But of course it doesn't, so let's do horizontal, vertical, none, and then hit it again just in case. Yeah. Alright, yeah, that seems good in terms of distortion. So I'm happy enough with that. Now we just have to get this piece, which is similar to like the chimney, for instance. So I know that I could do a few different things. I have choices here. So let's just do the interior as its own thing. So let me just grab the interior face and then grow selection once. And let me project on the X. Mapping, planar map X, and then kind of create that as its own shell. And then I'll just go into edge mode and select these, cut, and that's okay. That's its own shell, and then I just boop, and of course, actually that might be right, because this is those have some kind of funky angles to them, so that makes sense. Let's see if the UVs look fine. Yeah, distortion seems fine. So okay, so that's good. Just kind of move that off to the side. Done with that. Now we just have to worry about this, and I think what we're gonna do is just take this and cut all these. Just cut all these edges along the sides here. Oops! What did I do? That was weird. All right, I bumped a hotkey and it jumped. Okay. Oops. Yeah, not that one. Let's say that. Let's turn this off. Turn that off. Cool. All right. So yeah, those, and that. Now if I cut those, and now if I grab this shell and unfold. Boop. Nope. Okay. So once again, I will try horizontal, then vertical. That is definitely not behaving. All right, let's try Unfold 3D. That's closer. That's just about right. Oh, and I can actually move and so that. That's fine. Okay. We're on the way. It's almost there. Let's try Legacy again and try None. There we go. That's exactly what I would anticipate. So I had to unfold a bunch of different times with almost like each of the different methods. So once again, sometimes Maya just doesn't behave, and you just got to keep fiddling with it until it gives you good distortion. But now we're good. Now we've got like this entire piece unwrapped, no distortion. It's in a bunch of pieces, but the pieces make sense, and they're they're where they need to be. So let me go ahead and grab everything, and let's see. Let's do layout, options. All right, and that's good. So that's acceptable. And oh, let me do it one more time. That's better. Setting it to world kept the texel space a little bit more appropriately. Okay, cool. So that's good to go. So we've got now this rain gutter and this rain gutter piece, and we've got a good amount of these assets done already. There's a rain gutter over here, and it's an L-shaped one. Was this instanced though? No. Okay, no. This and then this was not instanced. I'm talking about this this piece here. So I'd have to redo this. It would have been smart for me to UV map it before I duplicated it to put this one over here. Oh, hey. Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing good. You got to go. Might have to watch the VODs. That's cool. Yeah, I'm posting these on YouTube as well. So I'm recording for YouTube and streaming. So feel free to check them out there. But thanks for stopping by. Cool. All right. So far we blasted through a lot of this. I think maybe I'll do at least one more. I can only take so much UV mapping myself. You know, if you do UV mapping for too long, eventually your brain melts. So you got to be careful. Okay, so let's just jump over here and do this potted plant window. Because this is kind of a little bit more complex object in some ways. let's dive into this. So it kind of might make sense to chop the windows, the window panes, like the panes of glass. Kind of might make sense to put those together, like kind of rip those out on their own. But I might do that and then also get the borders of them. Let's see. How about... Let's do that. Let's grab each of these. I'm going to select each of those and then grow selection once. And then I'm going to project on the Z. And we've got that. But now we're also going to want to cut seams here because these need to unfold. These side panel things need to unfold. So let me go ahead and select all of those. So I'm Control-Shift clicking, then Control-Shift double clicking, Control-Shift click, Control-Shift double click, and that gives me all of those all at once. Then I Shift-Right click, cut, and then I can unfold all of these at once, potentially. Hopefully, again, you never know. Maya may behave, may not. It looks like it behaved, so we're good. So we got all of those. Basically, the interior parts of these all got mapped pretty quickly. And I can just go to shell mode and sort of scoot these over. Get them off of each other. Those are good to go. And now I just need to figure out what to do with the rest of it. So I think this whole front panel... If I just make this selection, and then deselect here, and then, oh yeah, deselect a little bit more. Okay, so cool. So if I get that whole front panel, I can probably even get the sides as well. Alright, so I got that selection now. If I project on the Z again, scoot this over, I'm again going to want to cut the corners. I don't need those corners though, so just those two corners, it looks like and then I'm good. So I'll cut those. Oops. Cut. And then now I should be able to unfold this. And bam. That's what I get. Oh, it looks like I missed. Oh, yep. See, I missed a piece. Okay, no big deal. And that actually might be okay, like the way it is, but I'll probably just rip it off though. I'll rip it off. I'll just cut that and try to keep this piece with the planter part. Just seems to make more sense to me that way. But now, this kind of makes sense. And even in Photoshop, you could probably paint that pretty easily without being confused about what it is. Okay, so that's good. Now it's basically down to the planter and then the little supports for the planter. Let's do this. Let's select basically the whole planter. Deselect extra bits that I accidentally got. Control key. Okay, cool. And let's just project. Let's go with a Z. Unwrap Z. Scoot it over. And then now it's going to change surface direction here and here. So once again, of course, that means I'm going to need to cut seams along here, along here, along here, and along here. So selected all those edges and shift right click cut. So now I've got some seams there, and I can blast this apart. So I think I don't need any more seams. Let's find out. Apply. Okay, so that definitely imploded. So I either need more seams or Maya screwed up. And the answer is, I think Maya screwed up, but I'm not. No, okay, no, I see. It's connected here and connected here, and that's why Maya's freaking out. No big deal. if I just choose where to cut. And I think what we'll do is I'll choose to cut here. So I'll cut here on both sides. Cut. And let me just do this. Okay, and yep, that's what it was. So because I knew it wanted to do this, it wanted to spread apart here, and it wanted to spread apart here. But the problem was it was connected here and here, so it was had nowhere to go. But now it does. Now it's good. Now let's check the distortion though, because it does look a little funky. That could just be because of the shape. Yeah, the checkers seem good. So I guess the shape's just a little funky. That's why it's creating this kind of. It's because of this angle here, I think. That's why. No big deal. As long as the distortion's good, we're good. Yeah, I could choose to try to like change where this is connected, because right now it's connected right here in the middle. Maybe I like that, maybe I don't. It's not ideal. I could try to connect it here. That might be better, because if you're viewing it from this way, having no seam down here inside doesn't seem to make sense to me. So you know what? Let me cut there. Cut there. Let's move in so. Move in so. To me, that makes more sense to eliminate a seam here, because that's the most visible corner when you're looking at this from most perspectives. Okay, but then if you're gonna move in so and make some cuts, then you should unfold again just in case you actually introduce distortion. But that's good now. Now that's definitely doable. Now it's just down to this little spot right here. And again, should be pretty straightforward. Should be pretty easy. It's been ripped apart so that there's no interior faces when you mount this on the wall. So it's going to save you some hassle there. But from here, what do I want to do with this? I think I'm gonna rip this off where I'm gonna make a few different shells out of it. So I'm gonna make this shell and this shell, and I'll project those, of course, on the X. So I'll make those two shells. Those should be separate because there's not this face connected. But then I'll go ahead and also project these on the Z. Z. And scoot that over as well. And this should unfold just fine. Yeah, so that's good. So that's just a strip going this way, and then there's one over here and one over here, and that's good to go. And now we just have to do the same over here, which is pretty straightforward. So once again, I can just grab the middle, and mapping planar Z. Ooh, my eyes are stinging. Okay, go to UV mode, grab the shell, unfold. And then again, same thing here. Grab this side, grab this side, and then project mapping planar X, and then just unfold. Good to go. One shell, two shell. There we go. Just double check all of these. Okay, cool. That's it. That's this asset is good to go. Oh, except for layout, of course. All right, so let's just do layout real quick. Layout, options, apply, F key, bam. And I will take it. That's good to go. And of course, I could always manually try to lay this out a little bit tighter. Shuffle things around, try to try to tighten this up. And of course, I could also try to include other items. Like if you want to include other items, just select more than one object at a time, and then just lay the UVs out all at once, and that will make sure that they're all on the same texture sheet. Okay. Flowers. All right. Let's do it. Now, here's what would have been smart. In fact, let's just be smart. I got a bunch of different flowers here, but they're all they're not different. That's the thing. That's the whole point. They're not different, at least in the sense that they are different sizes. But I combined all this. When I combined all of it, if I had any instancing, I lost it. So the smart thing to do would be to unwrap one flower, and then reduplicate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and delete. I'm going to first of all separate everything. Shift right click, separate. And then I'm just going to delete all these other flowers. And that way I have just like literally just this, which I can go ahead and map right now, planar map Y, and that's pretty much it. Like just literally that, and then unfold, and it's done. So that's it. That's unfolded. Distortion gone. It's fine. But now the flower itself, of course, is going to be a little more work, but I don't want to have to do this work a bunch of times. So I'm going to delete all the other flowers and just UV map the one, and then reduplicate it, because that's going to be 100 times easier. So this is just a pipe, really. It's a bendy pipe. But generally speaking, if I map it on almost, either of these axes, doesn't matter, and then pick a seam. Now I definitely have some problems with non-planar faces. So like this face right here, definitely twisted. So that's definitely not good. That's going to cause some problems. But for now, let's just work with it and just unfold options. And I'm almost positive. Oh no, none actually did a much better job than I expected. That's actually decent. It's got some distortion, but some of that distortion could be coming from the non-planar faces. So I think that's actually acceptable. I may just leave it. I'll see what Unfold 3D gives me, though. Unfold 3D might actually even be better. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe not. Yes, maybe it's about the same. Whatever. Okay, so. But I'm going to call that good enough, because I don't really want to mess with it. And, having to clean up all those non-planar faces could be a pain. I could triangulate it, too. I could triangulate this, and that would kind of solve some of the non-planar face issues, but I don't want to do that either. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to call that good, and then skip ahead. And now we just have a bunch of pretty straightforward, simple things. Oh, and I could probably make my life easier here, too. If I isolate this, if I just delete the insides of these, those don't need to exist. So each one of these has an interior face there that I just didn't clean up. So I'm cleaning it up now. Delete. So delete. Delete. And delete. And one more. Cool, that should be all of them. Whoa! Thanks. Let's try to get back in there. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I think we're good. We got them all. Cool. And now, again, just it's time to UV. And this is a pretty simple shape. It's not like the most intricate flower ever. Again, we're trying to keep things low poly. So just kind of a pretty straightforward shape that is fairly easy to unfold. But I have to drink more of my drink first. Now I'm ready. Okay. Let's do this. Let's just project. Let's just project like this. Oh, and sometimes, by the way, if it's a really awkward angle, like it's not really facing X, Y, or Z, not really, you could do this if you want. You can do shift right click, mapping, planar map, options, and it gives you this window, which you can choose camera. So you could line up the camera to face the biggest faces, whichever weird angle those are facing. Just line up the camera as best you can and hit apply. And what that does is it projects from the camera down at the UVs and gives you this, which kind of looks like what it should. So that I only do that occasionally when something's like really not like it's really just at a funky angle and nothing really lines up. Sometimes I'll do that. But that's available. You could use that. Anyways, okay, so let's cut some seams because we're definitely gonna need some seams here. Let's just cut like this. And let's cut here. And here. Might be enough, but let's cut here and here just in case. Alright. Oops. Stop it. Cut. Let's see if that was enough. Now, again, I could have been super smart and I could still do this, but I should have been smart and UV mapped this. I should have UV mapped this one petal long before I duplicated it, because that just saves me all this extra work. So I still may do that. We'll see. I think I actually did instance them at first, but then I ended up combining them later. I'm pretty sure that's what I did actually, but whatever. So again, I could still delete these other ones and then reduplicate them, but I haven't decided if I want to yet. Let's just get this one petal finished first. So let's try to unfold and see if I cut enough seams. I think I did. I think I got enough seams. And now you'll see, you might think, wow, that's magic, because I kind of was just looking at the shape and choosing seams because I was basically visualizing this. I was visualizing it doing this because I've unwrapped 1,000 things before, so like I know if I cut here, cut here, cut here, I know that it should unfold like this. I'm still surprised occasionally when I'm like, oh, it unfolded like that, or oh crap, I forgot to cut that seam, you know. So I'm still surprised occasionally, but a lot of times I know if I cut here, cut here, cut here, it's probably going to give me this shape if it does it correctly. And yeah, no, that's good. So, and when you've done this for, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, you'll get to that point too. You'll get to the point where you can just strategically choose to make this shape and you know exactly where to cut to make this. Takes a while to get there. Like, you know, it's at first it's going to be some trial and error, but that's totally fine. You'll get used to it. Okay, let's see. Now this is basically like a hemisphere, and once again, spheres. Spheres. Okay, it's actually kind of a sphere by itself. Usually has decent mapping already, like the default sphere. But I also turned down the poly count and I chopped it in half. So let's see if we can just do an unfold as this is. This might just be fine. It's kind of squishy, but almost acceptable, maybe. It's not ideal. I'm not thrilled about it. My other option would be one of my other options would be to sew these together. Like basically, if this is flat enough on the top could be kind of its own thing. Where that way there's not a million seams on the top. So I think I prefer that actually. So let me just cut these pieces off. Decide what to do with them later. And then sew these back together. I didn't want to sew there. So there. That is already a little bit better. Let's unfold again. That's definitely better. And I kind of prefer that the very middle of the flower is kind of more seamless, because if I'm going to paint that, I'd rather have that be like a kind of a focal point of the flower, and kind of look nicer. And then the seams around here, they're just kind of necessary to keep the distortion out, but probably live with them. I might be able to sew some of these together. Some of these aren't really spreading out super far, so I might be able to sew them together and then re-unfold and get away with it, but I'll just go ahead and leave those seams there, though, just in case, just to make sure that this is kind of nice and pretty with like the minimal distortion. And I think I am going to do this. So here, I'm going to delete these. Oops. Delete. All right. And then I'm just going to reduplicate them, because there's no sense in re-UV mapping all of those pieces when I've got one done now. And as long as I get my pivot point, if I just put my pivot point, snap it right there, I should be able to just kind of duplicate these around the center of it like I did originally. Kind of funkily. Okay, so let's just do that. So Control D and just scoot it. Pivot's in kind of an awkward alignment, but that's okay, because if it's a little bit kind of, I don't want it to be perfect actually anyways. You know, this is an organic thing. It's an organic flower, so not keeping these perfect is probably for the best. Oh, and of course I also have the option, by the way. I could instance these instead of duplicating them, and in that case, it would share UVs, and then whatever I paint on one flower petal goes onto all the flower petals. So it's better for efficiency, it's better for time. Like I could just paint one flower petal and be done. It just depends on if you really want to paint each flower petal uniquely and kind of break it up and make it more visually appealing. Of course, visually, it's going to be better if you have unique flower petals that have, you know, different damage or different sort of variation in them. That's going to be more visually appealing, but takes longer, and it's not going to be as efficient in terms of sharing texture space and kind of freeing up texture memory. I think for now, though, I'm just going to duplicate these regular. So I'm just going to Control D, duplicate, and just kind of block this back out. Okay, Control D. Alright, let's do it again. Control D. Okay, one more time. Bam. Bam. And that is feeling pretty good. That feels good enough. I've got my basic flower shape going on like I had before. Although this, I don't really want this to stick out so much. That's okay though. I never see it. All right, cool. But now I've got a UV map flower that I can combine it, which is going to make life easier if I do. I could group it if I really want to keep this modular and easy, more easy to clean up and fix. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and delete these old ones that are not UV mapped. So again, if I combine it, I lose my instancing, and I won't be able to lay it out perfectly. These aren't gonna share UV space. Right now, they're all sharing UV space still, just because I haven't moved the UVs. But they're not laid out though. They're not laid out in the 0 to 1, so I'm gonna have to move them. So let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and combine this. I'll combine the flower. Combine it, and then I will do the layout. All right, layout options, apply. And you see now, because I did the layout after I combined everything and after I and I didn't instance the flower petals. Now every single flower petal is its own shell, and it's got its own texture space, which again is great for if you want it to be unique and you don't want to have too much repetition, redundancy. Then this is going to be a better choice. But it is more wasteful in terms of texture memory. Okay, so, but now this flower is all combined. It's all one piece. It's all unfolded. So now I can just start duplicating the flower and rotating it. I can scale again. I can scale up and down uniformly. As long as I scale up and down uniformly, it should be fine. If I start to stretch it though, first of all, it's not going to look good. It's also gonna stretch the textures. So you really don't want to do that. But I can duplicate again, scoot it forward, sort of playing with the orientation. Duplicate it again, scoot it over, maybe scale this one down a bit, and just kind of have fun playing around with creating a little bit of a scene here. Staging the flowers. Scale this one up a little. Control D, scoot it over, and so forth. Control D, scoot it. And then this one is, let's shrink this one way down. Oops. Alright, and scoot it. Maybe scoot this one back a little. Make room for this one. Ah, this one's not happy. Okay, oh, you know what? I can maybe try orienting this one a little extra funny. That's kind of cool. That one's kind of leaning over more. Should probably do that with more of them, actually. That would probably be a little more visually appealing, but in fact, let's just do that. Let's just take this one and kind of lean it over more. He's like leaning off the side. And that feels pretty good. It's a fun little flower pot. Okay, and then again, I could take all of these and recombine them with the soil. The soil was this little plane here, or I could leave them in there just kind of floating and modular. That way each of the like every time I decorate a flower pot, it'll be different, depending on how I sort of arrange the flowers. Depends on if you want to be more efficient or if you want to make it a little bit more unique and interesting and pretty. But you know what? I didn't. Yes, so I have to delete these as well. So I'm going to delete these because those were not. Oh, okay. No, these are good. So it's just that one that was kind of messed up. Okay, so these are unfolded. So Control D, put it back. Forward. Cool. Now again, I can just duplicate the flowers and sort of move them over. But I'm just going to leave them there. I'm not going to bother to duplicate them and move them over because you get the idea. We've made a lot of progress. We have ripped through so much of this. There's just some simple things left. I don't even know if I'm gonna bother to do the rest of it because I think you probably have enough now that you could get it done without my help. I select everything and turn on checkers. A lot of this is mapped now. So it's, you know, kind of texturable. And like a door, pretty straightforward. This window would be a little bit more challenging, but it's not that much different than some of this, right? Because it has some of the same arching kind of blocky but arching kind of things. I think we're good. I think I could probably stop here and save my sanity, keep my sanity from, you know, dwindling away from doing UVs for hours and hours and hours and hours. Sometimes you just have to. It's just part of the job, but it doesn't mean you have to like it. You just got to get it done. Yeah. So I think I'm good for this. I'm gonna stop here. That's another hour. So I did like half an hour earlier. I did like an hour now. I did like 3 hours or 2.5 earlier. So that's a lot of UV mapping. Hopefully that's enough for you guys to sort of get a handle on how this process works. I think the next time I stream, I'm gonna do something else. I think I'm gonna do some landscape stuff for the concept art portion, just to change pace and kind of enjoy myself a little bit more. Okay. Again, if you guys have questions, let me know. I'll try to sort out any of the problems that you guys have. And that's about it, I guess. Good luck, everyone. I know it's not fun. This is the least fun thing you're gonna do in this whole process. UVs are not exciting. They're not fun, but painting them can be. You know, once you finish UV mapping everything, you can start painting it, and that can be kind of fun. You know, like getting a nice texture on things. Because even though these are super blocky, like super simple models, you put a nice paint job on it, it can look pretty cool. That's what, you know, game modeling is all about, right? All right. So see you guys. Hopefully this helps, and I'll probably stream more later. I don't know if it's gonna be tonight, but maybe tomorrow. So keep an eye out tomorrow if you wanna. I'll probably do some Photoshop-y stuff, painting, which is not my normal forte. I like Photoshop painting, but it's not what I generally do a lot of. Anyways, all right, see you guys.